Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the recess meeting of the Polk County Board for February 20th, 2014. We'll call this meeting to order. If everyone will please stand. County Board Member Herb Brooks will lead us in the pledge this morning and then introduce our clergy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I asked the Secretary, Bishop Sanders, to send me a short bio of him, and she has to go to repentance because she sent me 2 pages. However, that shows how important he is. Bishop Robert Sanders has been in a pastor for over 46 years. He was appointed to All Nations Church in Joliet in 1986. In 2012, he received a doctorate of divinity. Congratulations, Bishop. He was elevated in 1995 to play the 3rd Ecclesial Jurisdiction Bishop. He is currently pastor of the new First Church of Chicago, Illinois, and the All Nations Church of God in Christ in Joliet. And I'll stop right there and say welcome to my old friend, Bishop Robert Sanders.
Thank you, Reverend Brooks, and I certainly do appreciate you and your very kind introduction. You didn't have to do it. I don't have enough orders to pay you. Let me give due deference to our President and to all of the selected and elected officials of this greatest county in the state of the United States. And I appreciate this honor. And if you would just simply bow your heads, we'll pray that the will of God be done in this place, in the hearts and minds of all of the people. We pray that you would give us clarity of thought and ability and articulation of speech. Give us to be able to serve the constituency by which we represent, and do it with not justice for one or two, but justice for all. I pray this prayer in Jesus' miraculous, life-changing name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bishop.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Sure. DeGrossi? Here. Eustace? Here. Howard?
Here.
Ogalla? Here. Izzo? Moran? Rice? Here. Harris?
Here.
Trainier? Here. Bible?
Here.
Goodson? Here. Freitag? Here. Gould?
Here.
Balich?
Here.
Rizalone?
Here.
Winfrey? Here. Adamick?
Here.
Babich?
Here.
Wilhelmy?
Here.
Hart?
Here.
Mayor?
Here.
McDermott? Here. Weigel?
Here.
Collins? Here. Ferry?
Here.
And Brooks.
Here.
Thank you.
24 present, 2 absent.
24 present, quorum has been established. Entertain a motion placed on file the certificate of publication. Moved by Mr. Babbitt, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. DeGrossi? Yes. Eustace? Howard?
Yes.
Ogalla?
Yes.
Rice? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Bible?
Yes.
Goodson?
Yes.
Freitag? Yes. Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Rizalone?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babich?
Yes.
Wilhelmy?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Ferry?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
And Eustace.
Yes.
Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative, motion has carried. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the January 16, 2014 County Board meeting. Moved by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. McDermott, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion has carried. Madam Clerk, would you please acknowledge our elected officials and the media that is present this morning?
Sure. Our auditor, Duffy Blackburn, county clerk, Nancy Schultz-Boots, county executive, Larry Walsh, recorder of deeds, Karen Stupel, Sheriff Paul Kopis, State's Attorney James Glasgow, and we have our Superintendent of Schools, Sean Walsh. Media, Farmers Weekly Review, Bugle, Nick Ryer, The Times Weekly, Rex Robinson, and Herald News, and Cross. Welcome.
Thank you. Citizens to be heard, we do have one signed up. At the proper, appropriate time, we will have them speak. So if County Board Member Reed Bible, please come forward and to the podium and make a present a proclamation recognizing February as Black History Month.
Good morning, Mr. President, Madam Clerk, and members of the County Board and the public. Prior to making this proclamation, I feel that I would be remiss if I didn't briefly note the passing of the great activist folk singer, Mr. Pete Singer, who passed on this past January 27th. Mr. Singer was an author of the many freedom songs that called for social change and for justice. Songs I'm sure you're familiar with, such as If I Had a Hammer and Where Have All the Flowers Gone. He was a Grammy Award winner, Kennedy Center honoree, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. And inspired such people as Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan, and this extraordinary talent, who himself, though not an African American, modified, published, and then popularized a gospel song in 1948 that he originally learned as I Will Overcome, which he changed to We Shall Overcome. And after he performed it for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, it became the anthem for the civil rights movement. And one could then find Brother Singer at the forefront of many of the events of the civil rights struggle. So I just wanted to note his passing at the age of, I believe it was 93 years old, last January 27th, and just acknowledge his contributions to the civil rights movement. Now on to the proclamation. In recognition of February as Black History Month, whereas one of the best ways we can shape the future is to preserve what we value of our past, and whereas African Americans have a rich heritage and Black History Month gives us an opportunity to learn more about this important part of our nation's history, and whereas Black History Month serves as a celebration and an acknowledgement of the invaluable contributions by African Americans to the spiritual character, economic prosperity, and cultural development of our nation. And whereas the theme for 2014 is Civil Rights in America, to mark the 50th anniversary of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which is the nation's benchmark for civil rights legislation, and it continues to resonate in America. Now therefore be it resolved that the Will County Board and Will County Executive recognize February as Black History Month and acknowledge the outstanding achievements of African Americans throughout American history. Be it further resolved that the Will County Board and Will County Executive encourage the citizens of Will County to celebrate our diverse heritage and the continuing efforts to build a better tomorrow for all our children and grandchildren. Dated this 20th day of February 2014. Signed, Lawrence M. Walsh, Will County Executive, and attested to by Nancy Schultz-Boots, Will County Clerk. And I so move.
Second by Denise Wintry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion is carried. Presentation. reading. Next, I would like to ask County Board members Joe Babbage, Margot McDermott, will be making a proclamation, presenting a proclamation recognizing an Eagle Scout this morning.
This particular Eagle Scout is close to my family as I can get, I think. Michael, will you come down with your family? George?
And I just want to say that Troop 40 is very close to our heart. My son was a member of Troop 40 beginning in 1990, and I just love that scouting is so important to our generations.
That's right.
You know, my son was one generation, here's the next generation, and I hope Troop 40 goes on for many, many more generations. It's a real privilege.
But with us today, we have the father is an Eagle Scout, your older brother's an Eagle Scout, and now Michael just assumed his Eagle Scout. So, with the proclamation, honoring Michael Karnezis on becoming an Eagle Scout. Whereas Michael Karnezis, a senior at Lincoln Way East High School, is a member, I'm trying to duplicate Mr. Brooks, so I want to be heard. Here we go again. Whereas Michael Karnezis, a senior at Lincoln Way High School East, is a member of Boy Scout Troop 40, Rainbow Council, and whereas Michael is 17 years old and has been active in scouting since joining as a Tiger Scout, he earned his Arrow of Light, the highest award in Cub Scouts, in 2007. And whereas he has truly established himself as an outstanding scout, having earned 32 merit badges, 12 of which are required to attain Eagle Scout. And whereas Michael has also displayed his leadership abilities through numerous troop positions, including troop librarian, quartermaster, assistant senior patrol leader, and senior patrol leader. And whereas Michael, outside of Scouts, Michael is a member, active wrestler with the Lincoln Way East Griffins, and is a member of several clubs including Phi Sigma Pi and Science Club. He is in his 4th year at AFJROTC, where he is a flight leader. He has been an altar boy since age 5 and has attended Greek Orthodox youth camp in Greece. And whereas Michael has participated in many community service projects like food and toy drives and community cleanup days. And whereas Michael desired to further serve his community and his faith, steered him to Eagle Scout Project, where he had led and organized a clothing drive for the underdeserved population of Harvey, Illinois. And whereas, through much hard work and dedication, Michael Karnezis has soared to the distinction of Eagle Scout. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby congratulate Michael Karnezis on his achievement of Eagle Scout rank. Be it further resolved that the Court of Honor for Eagle Scout Michael Karnezis will be held in May 2014 at the St. John's United Church of Christ in Manuka, Illinois. Dated this 20th day of February 2014, Larry Walsh, Will County Executive, Nancy Schultz, Boots, Will County Clerk, and I so move.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
I'd just like to thank you all. It is a real honor to be not just an Eagle Scout, but to be recognized as one. It wouldn't be much of an award if people didn't know who you were or what you've gone through during it. Thank you very much.
Introduce your family.
This is my mother, Jenny Karnezis. Without her, wouldn't have been able to do any of this. This is my father, Peter Karnezis. He's also an Eagle Scout who helped my mom. This is my grandpa, George Karnezis. Which without him, I wouldn't be able to smile like this.
My other grandson was second, and this one's the third Eagle Scout. And we got two more coming.
Over there is my priest, Father Sam Demetrius. He was the one who actually helped me with my Eagle Scout project and came up with the idea. So I have a lot to thank him for.
Next on our agenda is our State's Attorney, Jim Glasgow, who has an announcement to make. Jim?
I wish we could clone Michael Parnez's, and then we could cut the backlog at the courthouse. Congratulations, Michael. You're a real role model for young people, and hopefully more people will get involved in scouting after seeing this on TV. Meadow Cook is coming up March 22nd, Saturday. Looking at all your faces here. Love to see you at the event. The nice thing, if you're deciding whether to go or not, just think, gosh, we don't have to fund this thing, and so that's, with all the sweat that you guys go through, trying to crunch the budget and be fair to everyone and protect the taxpayers at the same time. And you guys do a great job. I wouldn't want your job. It's really difficult, but this one is easy. We've run the center since 1995 with public and private grants. We have the 501c3 wing now, so if any of you are feeling really generous, you could write a check. But the admission is inexpensive. So what is it?
$40.
$40. So again, and it's a great time, and you'll see people and meet people that you wouldn't normally at a fundraiser, because you'll see a dish and you'll be compelled to ask the person, how's that taste? Where'd you get it at? And then people are telling other people, you've got to try this. Normally we go to a fundraiser, we sit at our table, we talk to our peeps, and then we go. Not here. Everybody talks to everybody. And we usually have music. Are we going to have music this time? All right. That really makes things go. So anyway, there isn't a better cause. I've been doing this for a long time, and I remember in '92 when I got elected, I asked Ken Shudwin, chief of my juvenile division, how are we doing on prosecuting sexual abuse of children? And he said, Jim, it's terrible. We keep getting conflicting statements, and what would happen is the police would do an interview, the hospital would do an interview, DCFS would do an interview. We have to turn all those interviews over to the defendant as part of due process, and they wouldn't match. I mean, you've all interviewed children, and they tell different things to different people, not because they want to lie, they want to tell the adult what they want to hear. So this center does not suggest anything to the child, and now we got Jackson the Wonder Dog to relax the child, and it really works. And they go in there in a real good state of mind. The forensic interviewer never suggests anything, just gains the child's confidence and just asks them general questions so that the child can bring out the specific facts of the abuse. That's what stands up in court, and we get pleas in the majority of our cases because of the center, whereas in the past we weren't even able to charge them. So anything you can do to support this would be great, and again, keep in mind, you guys don't have to sweat and fund this thing, but show up and everything will be good. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, Marie Calhoun, to speak, if you would like to, come on forward. And she's case earning resolution 1412.
Yeah, name.
State your name and address for record.
Marie Calhoun, 206 2nd Street, Northeast Bradenton, Florida. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and other board members for giving me this opportunity to speak. And under 14.2, when the case comes up, I would just like to make a couple comments for you to take under consideration. There are a few cottages, 13 on leased land. They own the cottage. It's on the Calhoun property. This property was given in homestead in 1831 to our family by President Andrew Jackson. And then another parcel, that's the Riverside across 113 in Custer Park, was given by President Zachary Taylor in 1849. There has been someone living in cottages they built there since the late 1800s. By default, actually, because all the rest of the other generation, the greatest generation, they've all passed on. Now I'm the oldest and I'm handling it. And my father did this for years, and there was a gap. And we got into a situation here, and I came from Florida because I stick up for these people. It's never been a money-making proposition for our family. 4 out of the 13 leases that I have out now are 100% disabled people. They pay $1,500 a year, not a month. And this gives them the opportunity to have a home and somewhere to stay in. And I just would like, I wanted to make a comment and asking for your favor, or take under consideration the vote, that there's a long history here and we intend to stay there through the next generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on, all resolutions from the January 16, 2014 County Board agenda have been signed by the County Executive. Committee, Land Use and Development, Mr. Weigel, Chairman.
Good morning, everyone. First item is a public hearing for land use cases. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
By Weigel, second by Ms. Freitag. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Grossi? Yes. Eustace?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Gallup? Yes. Rice? Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Goodson? Yes. Freitag?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Ballot? Yes. Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babich?
Yes.
Wilhelmie?
Yes.
Hart? Yes. Mayor? Mayor?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Sperry?
Yes.
And Brooks?
Yes.
Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative, we are in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once the land use public hearing is closed. Cases to be heard today are case 6149-M and case 6153-S2. Is anyone from the public wishing to speak on either of these cases? Anyone wishing to speak on any of these cases today? Anyone wishing to speak? Mr. Weigel.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Both moved by Mr. Weigel, seconded by Ms. Goodson. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Sure. Grossi?
Yes.
Eustace?
Yes.
Howard? Gallup? Yes. Rice? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould?
Yes.
Ballot?
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babich?
Yes.
Wilhelmie?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Sperry?
Yes.
And Brooks?
Yes.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative, public hearing has been closed. Please continue, Mr. Weigel.
Our first case, 6149M, is a zoning map amendment from C2 to R5. This is in Joliet Township. This will allow the party there to replace a dilapidated garage with a new garage. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Winfrey, second by Mr. Berry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion is carried.
Next case, 6153 S2. This is in Plainfield Township. This is a special use permit for sports and recreation with 4 conditions. It's a virtual golf facility. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. McDermott. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Wilhelmie. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion has carried.
For this same case, is a special use permit for ancillary liquor service with 4 conditions. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Collins. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Howard. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary motion is carried.
Move on to resolutions 14-11. This is a refund request for permit fees from Hirsch Builders. In this case, there was a house under construction, and it had a fire, and they decided not to rebuild the house. Committee asked the builder for documentation as to whether the insurance company provided reimbursement for their expense, and they did not come forward. So the committee voted not to reimburse for this. So I will make a motion for approval, but I will ask you to vote no on this. I'll make a motion for approval.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Gould. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Zebrowski? No. Eustace?
No.
Howard?
Yes.
Ogalla?
No.
Rice? No. Harris?
No.
Trainier? No. Weigel?
No.
Goodson?
No.
Freitag? No. Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
No.
Griswold?
No.
Winfrey?
No.
Adamick?
No.
Babbage?
No.
Wilhelmie?
No.
Hart?
No.
Mayor?
No.
McDermott? No. Weigel?
No.
Collins?
No.
Ferry?
No.
And Brooks.
No.
Two affirmative, 22 negative.
2 affirmative, 22 negative. Motion has been denied.
The next resolution is 14-12, appeal of the decision of the PZC in zoning case 2013-04 for Maria Calhoun and Betty Bellinger, joint tenants. This case was Ms. Calhoun was up at the podium speaking on that regard. It is a camper trailer that was converted into a mobile home. It is not within our building code. However, it is hooked up to utilities, and it is a disabled person. It's been there for over 10 years and in that use. The committee recommended approval of this resolution, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Freitag. Any questions? Mr. Gould?
Just to be certain on the language, a yes vote is a vote in favor of the appellant, correct?
Yes.
Correct, okay.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, read the roll. Call the roll.
Zebrowski?
Yes.
Eustace? Howard?
Yes.
Ogalla?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Goodson?
Yes.
Freitag?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babbage?
Yes.
Wilhelmie?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Ferry?
Yes.
And Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative, motion has carried. Mr. Weigel?
Our next meeting is March 11th. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Tom. Move on to the Finance Committee. Mr. Wilhelmie, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive and fellow county board members. I have several reports to put on file this morning. First of all, we have a report from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of December 2015 to be $1,437,500. RTA tax was $1,737,000, and total was $3,174,500. We also have the Will County Treasurer's report for the month of December, and then we have the auditors. I should make a motion to put those on file.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Mr. Babich. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And then we have to place on file the auditor's quarterly report and the treasurer's annual report. And I move to place those on file also.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Mr. Renier. All in favor? Aye. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you very much. And then moving on to my resolutions, we have number 1413, resolution transferring and increasing appropriations in various county budgets to fund year-end shortfalls. And these have all been movements within their own departments, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Grossi, second by Ms. Bright. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you. Next is number 1414, resolution authorizing county executive to execute an intent to abate real estate taxes for United States Cold Storage facility in Wilmington, and their plan is to double the size and increase their workforce by about 55 by the time the project's done. A very strong employer for Wilmington, and I think this is a good project, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Mr. Reed Bible. Roll call vote. Any questions? Any questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
DeRosi?
Yes.
Eustace?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
O'Gala?
Yes.
Schuster? Pardon me? Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Bible?
Yes.
Goodson?
Yes.
Freitag?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babich?
Yes.
Wilhelmie?
Yes.
Hart?
No.
Mayor?
No.
McDermott? No. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
And Brooks.
Yes.
Affirmative, 3 negative.
21 affirmative, and motion has carried. Mr. Wilhelmie, continue.
Thank you. And my final resolution is number 1415, resolution increasing the 911 surcharge reallocation of grant funds in the sheriff's corporate budget, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Mr. Howard. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
DeRosi?
Yes.
Eustace?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
O'Gala?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Bible?
Yes.
Goodson?
Yes.
Freitag?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babich? Wilhelmie?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
McDermott?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
And Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative, motion has carried.
Thank you. That completes my resolutions. Our next meeting of the Finance Committee is scheduled for March 4th. We are planning to have a joint Insurance Personnel Committee, Finance Committee meeting that day. We are going to discuss funding sources for some settling contract negotiations and how we plan on addressing the budget and maybe changes that we need to make in the budget to do so. So that will be the majority of the information that we're going to do on that day, and any other business that may come up. But please join us on March 4th.
Thank you, Steve. Moving on, Public Works and Transportation Committee, Mr. Adamy, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive, and thank you. Good morning, fellow board members. I have two resolutions to present to you today. The first is Resolution 1416. It's a resolution authorizing an agreement between the County of Will and Northern Illinois Gas Company doing business as NICOR Gas Company for reimbursement and for reallocating facilities along McDonough Street, County Highway 3, and County Board Districts number 8 and 10, using county RTA tax funds in the amount of $550,000. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Our second and last resolution is Resolution 1417, a resolution authorizing approval of agreement between the County of Will and Towpath Joint Venture for the purchase of wetland banking site credits on Wilmington Peatone Road, structure over the south branch of Ward Creek in County Board District 1 using the RTA tax funds in the amount of $12,000. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Freitag, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And lastly, I'd like to remind everyone here, our next meeting is March 4th at 8:30. We would like, if anyone wants to come, to join our meeting. And a special hats off to, again, the highway crew for keeping our roads safe and clean. We've had an extraordinary winter with snow and cold, and I really appreciate the hard efforts that they've put forth up to this point. And be careful, everybody.
Thank you very much, Wally. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I want to echo what my colleague across the aisle has said about our roads being clear. But I also have a special thanks from Mark Trojanowski, who is our Wheatland Township Highway Commissioner, and he wanted to send a shout out to the sheriff and the deputies that have come around and helped so much during the snowstorms that we've had. He thought that the way those guys responded in helping close roads and helping folks keep safe was something that needed to be said, and I said, no, I have a meeting tomorrow. I'll make sure that everybody knows how you're feeling. So thank you very much, and thanks to the sheriff and our highway department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, we move to the Judicial Committee. Mr. Bible, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive, Madam Clerk, and fellow board members. The Judicial Committee has no resolutions this month. However, we do have 3 other items. We are in the process of deliberating over a proposed resolution to bring forward for consideration by the full board in the near future for it to exercise its authority to create a new court fees that would be imposed upon individuals required to appear in court who have either been convicted of certain classes of crimes, business offenses, or against whom orders of supervision have been imposed, said fee to be used to fund the court-appointed special advocate program of Will County, otherwise known as CASA. Second item would be the matter of a statute of limitation for violations of zoning or building code regulations. This matter has been reassigned by the Executive Committee from the Judicial Committee to the Land Use Committee after a majority vote was taken by a joint meeting of the Judicial and Land Use Committees at a joint meeting we had earlier this month recommending this action. And then finally, at its next meeting, the Judicial Committee will also discuss establishing a date for a public hearing for the matter of a formal policy that restricts the use of aerial photography as predication for any investigation by the Will County Department. The Judicial Committee will reconvene at 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday, March the 4th, and that concludes my report. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Reed. Next we move, excuse me. Next we move to the Public Health and Safety Committee. Mr. Babbage, Chairman.
Thank you, County Board Executive and fellow board members. Today I have one report to place on file. That is a motion in regards to the Regional Office of Education quarterly report, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Trenier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you. And at our January 16th, 2014 County Board meeting, we had Resolution 13312, which is probably getting older. Ordinance amending Will County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 93 pertaining to open burning or nuisance fires, and I move to take it off the table.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, seconded by Mr. Bible. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Not to sound like a broken record, but I want to place it back on file and table it.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, seconded by Mr. Ferry. Any discussion? Previous roll call by Mr. Trenier, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Hopefully we can get it done in March, because the leaves are going to start falling pretty soon. Okay, then we're going to our resolutions authorizing the county executive to execute, this is 1418, to execute intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and City of Braidwood for the provision of animal control services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Freitag, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And there are also 10 more resolutions in regards to the provision of animal control services, and I would like to go from 1419 to 1428. Resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between...
Wait a minute, Joe.
What?
You're trying to do a consent? You're going to do each one?
No, I'm going to go together.
No, I don't know. I don't think we can do these.
Okay, I'll read them all.
Okay. Practice your reading.
Yeah, my age is pretty hard.
Bring Michael back.
Bring Michael, there you go. Yeah, he just got accepted to the University of Carbondale down there. Okay, 1418, resolution authorizing the county executive...
We did 1418.
Okay, we'll go 1419. Resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Shanahan for the provision of animal services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Flaherty, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Freitag, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
1420 reads pretty much the same. Resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Elwood for the provision of animal control services, and I so move.
By Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Bible. Any questions? Previous roll by Gould. Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Ogala. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
1421, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Godley for the provision of animal control service, and I so move.
By Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
1422, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Homer Glen for the provision of animal control services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
1423, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Manhattan for the provision of animal control services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Mustis. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
We're a little over halfway there. 1424, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of New Lenox for the provision of animal control services. So moved.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by somebody... Frizzle. Mr. Weigel. Well, he's getting tall. Mr. Babbage and Mr. Weigel. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rice, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
I haven't got tongue-tied yet. Resolution authorizing the county, this is 1425. Resolution authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Plainfield for the provision of animal control services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Goodson. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Harris, second by Ms. Trenier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
1426, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Shorewood for the provision of animal control services.
By Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Freitag, second by Ms. Ogala. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
1427, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between the county of Will and the village of Simerton for the provision of animal control services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by, Gould, Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Ferry, second by Ms. McDermott. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And finally, at the end of the tunnel, 1428, resolution authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental agreement between the county of Will and the city of Wilmington for the provision of animal control services, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Freitag. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Frislow. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
That concludes my report, Mr. Executive. The next Public Health and Safety Committee meeting is scheduled for March the 13th, 2014 at 8:30 a.m. and every county board member is invited. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babbage, for fine report.
And it's a great one.
Next committee, Insurance and Personnel, Mr. Grossi, chairperson.
Good morning.
Good morning, Diane.
We have no formal action to be taken at this time. As my partner Steve had mentioned, we are having a joint meeting between finance and insurance and personnel to flesh out what we need to as far as the budget and also funding issues when it comes to negotiations of pay down. So again, as a reminder, our joint meeting will be scheduled on March 4th at 10 p.m. 10 a.m. Can they go until 10 p.m. you never know? 10 a.m. please.
March what?
March 4th.
Okay, March 4th.
March 4th, 10 a.m.
Well, it says here, it says March 11th on the
No,
agenda.
that'll be that's our regularly scheduled meeting.
Oh, I see, okay.
Okay, we have a joint meeting, we have a joint meeting
All right,
to
okay,
clarify,
thank
which
you
is
very
March
much.
4th.
March 4th.
We have our regularly scheduled meeting on March 11th at 9:30. And again, this will be determined if that will actually take place based on the outcome of the March 4th.
Thank you very much. Legislative and Policy Committee, Mr. Howard, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive and fellow board members. I have one resolution to come before the board this morning. That's 14-29. That's a resolution establishing the Will County Federal 2015 agenda and priorities. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Howard. Are you checking this, Art? Oh, Mr. Musis wants to. Mr. Musis seconded. Any discussion?
Previous roll.
Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Ferry.
No.
Oh. Not previous roll. Ms. O'Gala, did you have a question or? Oh, okay. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
DeGrossi?
Yes.
Eustace?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
O'Gala?
No.
Rice?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Trainier?
Yes.
Bible?
Yes.
Goodson?
Yes.
Freitag?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babbage?
Yes.
Wilhelmie?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
McDermott?
No.
Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
And Brooks.
Yes.
Thank you.
22 affirmative, 2 negative.
22 affirmative, 2 negative. The motion is carried. Mr. Howard, continue.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to thank our co-chair, Suzanne Hart, and the committee members that put a lot of time and effort into this. Mr. Palmer put a lot of time and effort, Bruce Street, everybody worked at a team, and especially the board members that took the time to come out and actually express their views about the agenda and add or take away from it whatever they decided to do. So again, it was a team effort, so thank you. And I'd also like to thank, this last month was extremely hard out in eastern Will County as far as the snow out there that accumulated. Basically the snow, it kept coming and we kept piling it up. And I have to compliment Bruce Gould in the highway department on the job that they actually did out there. It was phenomenal. And there's a saying out there, if you can make it to a county road, you got it made. And actually, they kept it clear out there, and those guys were out there consistently. And Bruce is very responsive. I've called him after hours with questions about roads that constituents have asked, and he's always responded, so thanks again. And the next Legislative and Policy Committee meeting is scheduled for March 11, 2014, 8:30, and I'd like everybody to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Very fine compliment. Next, we move on to the Capital Improvements Committee. Ms. Winfrey, chairperson.
Good morning, Mr. Executive, fellow board members. Capital Improvements has one resolution, number 1430, and that is the resolution authorizing the county executive to execute professional services agreement with TUSA Consulting Services to assist in the acquisition and replacement of the Will County radio system, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, seconded by Mr. Babbage. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
The,
we got two votes.
Ogalla and McDermott.
Get both of them?
Yes,
Get on. Okay, thank you. Proceed.
The courthouse ad hoc committee will meet on Monday, the 24th at 10 a.m., looking at the RFQ for initial courthouse programming. And the next Capital Improvements Committee meeting has been moved. It will be Monday, March 10th at 9:30 a.m. And that completes my report.
Thank you very much, Denise. Moving on to next committee, Mr. Airport Committee, Mr. Moran, Chairman, and Ms. Hart is going to handle that this morning. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Goodson. Ms. Goodson's going to handle that this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Executive. Thank you very much. There's one resolution from the Airport Committee today. This is Resolution 14-31. The resolution is stating the purpose of the ad hoc committee. After our discussion in caucus this morning, I would like to make a motion that this be remanded back to committee. There were numerous suggestions on how to clarify and perhaps strengthen the mission statement. So I'd like to motion to send it back.
Motion made by Ms. Goodson, second by Mr. Mayor. Discussion. Mr. Howard?
I think that would be a good thing because Mr. Moran's not here today, and then that would give him an ability to address this here. And I'm sure, next month you guys get all worked out and bring it back and get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Seeing none, motion to approve. Previous roll call. Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Babbage. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne.
Our next meeting will be on March 6th at 8:30, and I encourage everybody to come, and if you would like to email suggestions on things that you would like to see in this mission statement, please forward them to staff, and we'll make sure that they're considered, but also please feel free to advocate.
Thank you much, Leanne. Next committee is Executive Committee. Mr. Brooks, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive. Good morning, everyone. I have 9 resolutions to bring before this body on today. I wish I could do Joe Babbage as a consent agenda, but I'll practice my reading as well. 14-32, resolution avoiding bid for permit case system for the Land Use Department, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
14-33, resolution awarding bid for farm lease for agricultural purposes on approximately 65 acres of the county landfill property, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Freitag. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
14-34, replacement hires for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Grossi. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Bible, second by Ms. Rainier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
14-35, resolution declaring Sheriff Steve's vehicles are as surplus, authorizing disposal, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Ballich. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Fizzlewood, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify signify by saying aye. Contrary motion is carried.
14-36, resolution declaring various equipment as surplus and authorizing disposal, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Wilhelmie, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion is carried.
14-37, resolution confirming the county executive execution of the Regional Transportation Authority FY 2013 and 14 application for Section 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities Grant, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Ms. Segrosi. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion is carried.
14-38, resolution authorizing county executive to execute necessary documentation for the acquisition of airborne LIDAR data for the Will County GIS Department. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Collins, second by Ms. Ogala. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion is carried.
14-39, resolution authorizing the county executive to accept, execute, and administer grant agreement with IEMA Disaster Recovery IT program, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. McDermott, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion has carried.
And finally, 14-40, resolution authorizing county executive to execute professional services agreement with IQM2 for the board management system, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Bible. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Grenier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary motion has carried.
Thank you. The next executive committee meeting is scheduled for March the 6th, 2014, 9:30 a.m. Of course, will be across the hall in the conference room. Appointments by the county executive, you should have all those, and I so move.
There are none.
There are none? Oh, that's why I'm next month. Oh, that's next month. You put them all the next month. All right.
Moving on, announcements by our county board speaker, Mr. Brooks.
First of all, let me begin by thanking this body for recognizing Black History Month. Read Bible for that resolution. And I also like to request if I can get a copy of that. Could I keep that? Oh, you're so kind. Thank you, Ben. But thank you all for recognizing February as governing body for Black History Month. Also want to congratulate Michael and Stephen, the rank of Eagle Scout. Many of you all have a lot of passion for that. I appreciate Margot and Joe, you guys making that presentation on this morning, and certainly want to congratulate him and his entire family. We originally scheduled a family photo today, but we all can just sing Kumbaya together, but that has been canceled. We've got two missing. Well, we scheduled that at a later date. I do want to sing the chorus of the song that everybody's praising, the Highway Department of Will County and the job Bruce Gould, and I'm sure all of his workers and departments have done, along with our villages, cities, and our township. This has been a very, very difficult winter, and they've had a very difficult job, and they've done a very good job. Just one thing, Bruce, there's still a wall where I park at. I can't see over the wall. They put all that snow right there. Okay? But I just want to congratulate you for all the good work that you have done during this time. Look like the weather's getting a little better today. Thank God for that. Somebody's been praying. But thank you all, and you have a wonderful rest of the month. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Moving on to the Democratic Caucus Chair, Ms. Segrosi.
Pardon? Thank you. This is an early morning for all of us. Yeah, it's on your face. Yes, I'll keep it that way. Oh, come on. Okay, again, I'd like to also echo what our speaker said, recognizing Black History Month, and I would strongly suggest that all of our citizens go out and do educate yourself. It's very, very important to all of us. Again, I also want to recognize our Eagle Scout and his accomplishments. You mentioned maybe our weather was over, I don't know. It's still treacherous out there, and I'm sure everyone has seen both on the news feeds that are out there, the TV, with the number of trucks that are out there on our highways now. People really have to be very, very cautious, and you watch a little bit what's happening around them. All vehicles going up against a big truck, who's going to win in that case. So again, be careful. We have the thaw that's happening. We are supposed to get up to actually 50 today. And although the snow has been cleared, it's still going to melt, which means we're going to get streets flooded and so forth. So again, it's no time to let down our guard, guys. Exercise caution when we're all out there. Then the last thing that I want to mention, which I'm sure everyone knows, Nancy, your job has just begun. Nancy's office, the clerk's office, does just a marvelous job when it comes to the election time, and we all know that we're in that now. March 18th, as a reminder, is the primary election. You have state offices, you have county offices that are up for grabs, so to speak. Democrats, Republicans alike. I would encourage our voters that are out there to educate yourself on the individuals who are running. Don't simply go based on a sign that's on the side of the road and say, oh, it's a pretty sign. Don't go based on a very attractive mailer that you may get. Educate yourself to know who's running. Again, Nancy, hats off to you. You've got a lot of work ahead of you.
I would like to remind residents also that they did receive their voter information guide in the mail. Educate yourself. There's a sample ballot inside there. It also gives you the opportunity to have a ballot mailed to your home. You can take advantage of early voting starting March 3rd, where you can come to my office and vote. And we're open on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. So please vote. All elections are important, not just the presidential. So please come on and vote.
And we're all going to take you out to lunch after it's all done.
I agree, Sam, too. But I'm excited about the early voting locations, too. But at the early voting locations now, we have the newest DS200 that's going to be at the early voting site. So now you get to put your ballot right in the scanner. So that's good. Something new, just got certified, and I've been working with all the local clerks. They have their training, and so this is something big and huge that's going to take place for March 18th.
Is it your sports car, Nancy? You say it like that?
It looks like an R2-D2, little space object. But we have the M100 at the polling places, but the reason why we're able to do this now is because the DS200 holds the whole county on that machine. In the past, the M100 only held 10 precincts. So this is big. We did get grant money, and I thank the county board for approving that resolution for the printers. So the local clerks do a fabulous job out there, and thank them and it's nice for the residents because they can go close to vote. So please, when you get that voter information guide, just don't leave it on that counter or throw it in the recycling bin. Open it up, read it, and look at your polling places, because polling places change from one election to the next, and that's another way to educate you on what your polling place. You get a voter's card, and it's in your voter information guide, and even a map and how to get there. So please read that voter information guide. I received mine in the mail yesterday, and I believe most of all of you have too. So please vote. It's so important.
Nancy, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm done. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, one other thing. Just a reminder. Jim, you got up and did your spiel about men who cook. Reminder on the date, which is March 22nd, from 6 to 9, and it's $40 a ticket. Come, eat, gorge yourself, contribute. Have a good day.
Thank you, Diane. Next, our Republican caucus chair, Mr. Mizes.
Morning, County Executive, County Board. How we all doing today? It's been a pretty rough winter. It kind of brings me back to my younger days, my youth. I don't know if it's that we had more difficult winters. I don't know if that's really a reality or just an exaggerated memory of that came over time. But it certainly has seemed like a more difficult winter this year. We passed a bunch of intergovernmental agreements for animal control today. But it does take me to our public works folks and the great job they have done this past year and how cooperatively they work together. Municipalities, townships, county, state, you know what, they do without intergovernmental agreement. Isn't that something? They just get together and do what needs to be done. So that often impresses me that you know, the folks with the boots on the ground can really get things done without permission from us. So I think that's something that we should mention. It is a little warmer today. It is spring training this weekend. We need to make that trip someday together. I think we'll have a good time. A bucket list thing. You know, once again, I thank everyone, you know, staff, elected officials, county board for all your work the last month. Look forward to working for the next month, with moving this county forward. And everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mustis. Just a final comment or two. I echo the same comments and compliments to our highway department and our sheriff's office. In the bitter cold of the night, they're out there performing their duties and do it very, very, very well. And it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year on our budget. Seems like it snows every Saturday and Sunday, you know, overtime racks right up. So anyway, but they've done an excellent job. One other issue I would like to bring up. Just yesterday, the Illinois Department of Public Health approved the renovations that we have done for the last year and a half, maybe, Karen? Year and a half. If you've been out to Sunny Hill Nursing Home, you have witnessed the state-of-the-art new kitchen facilities that we have in there. And I want to personally say thank you to the staff of the nursing home, the hard work that they went through working in a kitchen that was about 1/3 the size of what they normally were, pushing carts from outside and from a trailer back into the nursing home in order to have the residents get fed and still never interrupting their meals or the quality of their meals. So we're in the process now. It's going to take us a couple of weeks to get that up and running, but you need to get out there and see what an unbelievable, beautiful facility we have there. And we'll be starting on the last Avenue, Avenue 6, in the near future. So to Karen and your staff, give them what job well done. And just one more announcement. It's a sad announcement to make today, but Melanie Manning is leaving. She's going to become a stay-at-home mom, which she is definitely looking forward to. So Melanie, we thank her for her continuous work in helping us out here and doing an extraordinary job whenever we need her. So we wish you the very best, Madam Mom. So with that, we will stand in recess till Thursday, March 20th, 2014 at 9:30 a.m.